rest there, listening to my voice, just allow your attention to drift just for a moment. And have you ever noticed how in the morning some places the dew lingers on surfaces while the sun gently warms it away? And as you rest comfortably in your chair or gently on your bed, you can just give yourself permission to settle just for these moments, settling into a kind of quiet curiosity. And it's natural to wonder how much more easily you can experience this relaxation. And while the outside world continues at its own pace, you can simply notice the gentle rhythm of your own breathing, as if it's echoing a distant, calming melody. And you know, there's a unique kind of garden, one that only grows when the earth is left undisturbed, with soft moss covering secret paths, inviting you to take one step and then another, not because you must, but because each step invites you to turn a page in a story that's still unfolding. The garden there is thick with a restful hush, and you can just allow yourself to drift deeper, just listening to the way silence can be supportive when you let yourself just rest inside. And this garden is undemanding, giving you the space to explore at your own pace, curious, relaxed and open. And as you meander through these imagined paths, noticing how some ways are open and some are gently closed, it becomes clear that even the most beautiful of gardens have hedges and protections, not to keep things out, but to let new things bloom within in their own time. And it's remarkable how every plant, just like every part of yourself, has its own rhythm of opening and closing. And even the sapling, uncertain in the early spring, feels the urge to stretch upwards, but also the feeling of comfort in its own shade. It pauses, and in pausing discovers a gentler way of growth, one that honors both sunlight and shade. The plant doesn't rush to grow because it's afraid of the sun, but because its roots are establishing nourishment, becoming strong from within, before any burst of growth. What looks like hesitation is simply a wise adjustment, knowing that there's a season for every type of growth. And perhaps you might notice how there's some part of you that's always known this wisdom, even if other parts have felt a little impatient or perhaps overly protective. And when thoughts of commitment arise, it's easy to imagine there's some pressure, some looming requirement, as if one must build an entire garden overnight. And here, in your own inner garden, you can begin to sense the difference between protection and possibility. And every time you feel uncertain, it's as if the moss grows just a bit thicker beneath your feet, cushioning you, inviting you to rest and reassess. Never rushed, always respected. And what some people call a fear of commitment may just be a careful, creative intelligence, a way your mind and heart preserve your energy until you're truly ready to grow in a new direction. And sometimes the greatest acts of courage don't appear as grand gestures, but as gentle moments where you allow yourself to imagine stepping forwards, just one step. And just like that sapling, it's possible, maybe even likely, that as you become more familiar with your own inner rhythms, your trust can grow quietly, supporting your movement forwards when the time feels just right. And you might find that the old labels of fear and limitations become softer when viewed through this lens, allowing yourself to redefine what commitment means for you. And as the garden continues to grow in its own way, the sapling eventually finds itself stronger, more anchored. The sunlight that once seemed too bright becomes simply one more invitation, a gentle encouragement rather than a demand. And when you nurture what's needed inside first, the idea of reaching out, forming connections, making choices about what grows together, naturally unfold. There's no need to force it or rush it. Even small, subtle shifts can have wonderful, lasting effects. And all the while, you can remember giving yourself a gentle permission, knowing it's safe to feel cautious sometimes, and equally safe to imagine a future where you choose commitment in just the ways that are right for you. And as this garden settles gently into a quiet twilight, you can notice the comforting weight of your body in the here and now. You can begin to sense your breathing more fully, becoming more aware of the room around you, the quiet sounds and the subtle light filtering in. With each comfortable breath, you can feel yourself returning to the present moment. And as you bring your attention completely back, you can feel a lightness and readiness, knowing that gentle changes will continue as you move on with your day. And from now on, you may notice moments of confidence and calm surrounding commitment growing, even in situations that used to cause concern. And as you go about your days, you'll trust your own timing, letting insights and ease emerge in surprising and gentle ways. Thank you for giving yourself this time today. And until next time, goodbye. and good mental health.